Welcome to the Pelias Podcast, Renewing the City, where we discuss all things dreaming, planning, and commercial real estate right here in Athens, Georgia. I'm your host, Paul Taylor Smith. Thanks so much for tuning in. So today we are talking about Beechwood Holiday Market, and if you're listening and you don't know what Beechwood Holiday Market is, it's something special that we've done here at Beechwood for the last 5 years. It started in 2020. And it used to be something that has now morphed into something a little more refined, but we used to have holiday vendors, 12, 13, 14 different little shops and these little huts, and we would sell hundreds of Christmas trees and hay rides and all kinds of things. But now we've kind of morphed it into these two special nights. One is the Saturday after Thanksgiving with this big band show and tree lighting. And then the next is a big Christmas Carnival on Friday, December 12th. And so that's what Holiday Market has become after 5 years, but less about what it has become and more about where it came from. Yeah. I think everyone's interested in, hey, how did this start? And, what's the origin story? And so, Dave, could you share just a little bit about where it all began?
Absolutely. I think the thing that's interesting about it is more than from kind of where it came from, but it's sort of what is it turned into, not in terms of from an event standpoint, but Holiday Market has really shaped us as an organization and how we think about things, how we do things. So I think it's a great topic for the podcast because it means a lot more than it might appear to from just a single event. But it's a lemons to lemonade kind of a story. COVID was a really dark, depressing time. In the summer of 2020, we found out that Steinmart was going to be closed over Christmas, bankrupt, permanently closing their store. And that was going to create a really dreary atmosphere for the entire shopping center because they were such a large anchor. Yeah. So we brainstormed and tried to figure out what could we do. Everything's been canceled. What is an outdoor event that we could do to sort of breathe life into the community? Right. And so, like you said, we thought of everything we could. Let's build Santa's post office. Let's have hay rides. Let's do fire pits with s'mores and sell trees and Hallmark movie set. And we did it. And people were extremely grateful to have an opportunity. It was one of the few opportunities at the time for people to come out and fellowship and be in community with one another. But I think what became so transformational about it is the conversations that were had between you and people in the community, me, everyone on our team was so moved by the gratitude that we got from the community for just being willing to spend the kind of dollars and resources to have something like this. Mm-hmm. But even more than that, it was hearing from longtime members of the community about what this place had meant to them and the kinds of experiences they'd had before. So much magic down in the basement of the Sears department store as kids would come and see Santa, and the recollections of the tree lighting on the Willie's over where Willie's is now. It just was discovery for us of a legacy of community and town center and, experiences that people had that we really had no idea existed when we bought the center.
Yeah. No clue. And I remember specifically when I was tying Christmas trees on people's roofs. Now, I wasn't a Boy Scout, so I had no idea how to tie a knot. It was pretty ugly. But I would tie these trees on people's... Yeah.
It's a trucker's hitch, Paul.
It's a trucker's hitch.
I'll show you afterwards.
Please do. Please do. I need it. But I would tie these trees on people's roofs. And I remember several families would come up and say, thank you so much for bringing it back. And I was like, bringing what back?
Right.
The joy of Christmas to Beechwood Shopping Center. And I was like, tell me more. Like, what are you talking about? And so they would tell me the stories, everything you just said. And so I got to interact with so many different families that this was a vital part of their Christmas tradition. And bringing it back felt awesome. And like the thing that we started to think about and talk about, and this has become common language now at Pelias and a core practice of ours, is we're not building anything from scratch. We actually say that we're building on a legacy, which is really important. And it honestly is kind of us admitting we're not the world's greatest at anything, but we're just playing the role that we can in the season that we've been given. And so, we say this a lot, but stewardship is what we like to do. And so this is us stewarding the property of Beechwood while we've been given the opportunity to do so. So we're building on a legacy by stewarding Holiday Market. And any more you want to share on that?
Well, I think Beechwood had lost its way over the last 20 years. But it was clear from the community that in the early decades of Beechwood, when it was locally owned, there was a lot of community involvement and engagement and vibrancy.
Oh, yeah.
And so as we had observed that as big REITs from out of state owned the project, things were sort of falling in disrepair and being neglected from a physical plant standpoint. They'd also obviously been missing an opportunity in building community. Yeah. And so, I think you hit the nail on the head. It is definitely stewardship, and for other developers out there that have properties that have legacies like this, if you're not really leaning in on that, you're missing an opportunity. Yeah.
The cool thing that we also started to find out as a guiding principle to the way that we wanted to do business, not just here, but also into the future and into different places. And we're working on some other things around town, some things out in Oconee, and researching the depth of history and beauty surrounding certain properties or areas has been key. And you mentioned this thing earlier to me called goodwill, and not the store, by the way, not the store Goodwill, although, they're great, but goodwill in the accounting term that it is, that it's this intangible piece that you have to calculate in some way that ascribes value to something that you get to steward. Yeah. And so we try to do that with just about everything we get to do and touch here at Pelias. But tell me more about goodwill and why it's important.
I would say that when we bought Beechwood, it was evident that some love and attention to the physical plant and revitalizing some things would be a wise business investment.
Sure.
It would be something the community would value. The appreciation for the goodwill was, I think, the thing that I underestimated or maybe even didn't think about. And that was, like you said, the gratitude, which flywheels into good business. As we poured love and care and concern and tried to rebuild Beechwood as a town center, it was met right back with so much appreciation, which translates into a healthier shopping center and retailers that do better, and it's just a good move. And I think that it was an eye-opening event for us. I think seeing how big of a lever that could actually be. And I think that it has translated into a guiding principle that this is an area we want to focus on wherever we are developing or building. Not every property has the legacy that Beechwood would have. Right. I mean, we're so fortunate to have that. But you're right. We see our role as stewards of that. We take that very seriously.
Yeah. And I mean, the quote that I love is that people won't always remember what you taught them or, what they learned from you. However, they will always remember how you made them feel. And the aspect of goodwill here at Beechwood and everywhere else we get to steward is we just want people to feel a certain way when they get to step on property with anything we get to develop and steward. And so here, that has just played out in huge ways over the last 5 years. Most people don't know that Beechwood is, that it was opened in 1962. It's an old center with a lot of history, right. And there's a lot of legacy and a lot of things, a lot of feelings, and we're trying to bring those back. And I love getting to talk with people about all those things. And I think a cool thing is that if you want to experience the joy of Christmas here and start maybe a new tradition or capitalize on an old one, should we invite people to Beechwood Holiday Market this year?
I think we should, Paul.
Okay, I think now's a good time. Saturday, November 29th is the first Beechwood Holiday Market event for 2025, and it is the Big Band live show. The Big Beyond is the band that was here for the very first Beechwood Holiday Market that we got to put on, and they're coming back. We're going to light up the tree. There's going to be so many different cool things happening for the family. It's going to be awesome. Now, the second event is Friday, December 12th, and that is the Beechwood Christmas Carnival. And that one, I love the Big Band Christmas tree lighting, but that Christmas Carnival, man, if I could just ride that slide all night. Me and my kids literally last time I think rode the slide some 15 times. We shut that absolutely down, and they cried when they had to go home. But it's going to be so fun. So if you're listening and you're looking for something awesome to do and a memory to start and a tradition to make, then come to Beechwood Holiday Market on one of those 2 dates.
Yeah, it is absolutely, in all sincerity, my 2 favorite days of the year. I get on the big 1945 Farmall red tractor and pull kids on hay rides all around the shopping center.
Hayride Dave is what they call you.
Yeah,
so.
But seeing the joy in the kids' faces and just the magic of Christmas, I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Oh, yeah.
And so, I hope anybody that's listening out there that's never been before will come. It's a blast.
It's going to be so fun, and we will see you there. Hey, thanks again for tuning in to the Polias Podcast. We hope that somehow, some way, your day was made just a little bit brighter by the content that you just heard, and we hope that you have an incredible rest of your day. We'll see you next time.